I'm Rose Cushing, host of Carolina Hoofbeats TV. Today, Hank and I are here with Kat Nordan of Kat's Tack and Horsey Services. And Kat has become my go-to person for taking care of aging horses. She knows an awful lot about them and how to make their lives more comfortable as they get older. So Kat, tell us a little bit about Sweet Hank.
So Hank is a grade quarter horse gelding. He is 34 years young. I classify him as a geriatric, not because necessarily he's diseased. That's the true definition of the word, is that a person or an animal is senior and diseased, but because he's so old.
Right.
Generally, now we're finding more equines in our 20s or in their 20s, but it's still a little uncommon for them to be in their 30s.
Right.
And especially as we get going further on with everything, we need to understand how they're special, how they can still give back to us, how to feed them, to properly take care of them. There are some considerations to keep in mind as well. So for instance, one of them is our feed too. So generally because our horses are getting older and we've got so many of them now, it's like the baby boomers, as it were, just in horses, that there are many senior feeds. One thing that we need to concentrate on or be aware of is that some horses can't take the sugar amount in the senior feeds. And so the main thing that we're interested in is the non-structured carbohydrates.
Okay.
So for horses that may be insulin resistant or equine metabolic syndrome or have any other issues like that, any endocrine issues such as PPID or Cushing's, we need to make sure that that NSC or non-structured carbohydrate level is below 12. And generally I'll actually say, you know what, let's look at something that's like 10, because then you know you're safe.
Right.
You're safe. So luckily for Hank the Hill, I call him that because he's over the hill. So for him, we don't have to be so concerned with that. He has no issues. Well, he doesn't have any teeth.
Right.
But that's the only issue.
Just a mild stumbling block.
Yeah, just a little milestone there. So the main thing I do with him is I just select a feed that's high fats. I try to get the protein actually a little lower than what a lot of commercial feeds offer. So a lot of commercial feeds are 14% in protein. I feel, now I'm not a nutritionist and I'm not a vet, I just, and speaking of experience here, I feel that that's a little too much, because as our bodies get older, same with our horses, as they get older, they don't process protein as well.
Right.
So generally for a regular maintenance level, the equine of average age needs anywhere from 9 to 10% protein. Thank you, Hank, for some love.
Little love kiss.
So 9 to 10%. Most of our commercial feeds are around 12%, and then our senior feeds range anywhere from 14 to 16%.
Wow.
So I feel for him that's a little too high, because he's not going to process it. He's going to pee it out, and I'm concerned about his kidneys, affecting his kidneys. His kidneys being overworked, as it were. So what he gets is a conglomerate of things, as most senior or geriatrics do. When they get to this point, we just kind of go, you know, if you like it, let's give it to you. Because as you can see here, you would think that he would be a little bigger, more well-built, being a quarter horse and all, but he's not. He's lost a lot of his muscle tone because he's now in his 30s, and a lot of horses do. So that's one thing to consider too, as well, is just keep in mind that as they get older, generally around the age of 30 is when I start to notice in them a bit of muscle atrophy. And so you'll see the muscle atrophy through here, through the top line. You'll see an overall narrowing of the pelvic region area, as well as the shoulder area. Sometimes even the neck He's doing really well. He has a lovely neck.
He does.
As you can see, and he's, you should have seen him 20 years ago. He had an even lovelier neck then. He was, I feel like he's a nice put together horse. He's very solid. Takes a lot of good riders. I don't ride him anymore.
It's that time again. The Everything Equine Expo is returning to the Southeast Agricultural and Events Center in Lumberton, North Carolina on August 25th and 26th. This year's action-packed expo features a visit from Best of America horseback host Tom Say. Our colt starting competition returns with 6 of the top competitors in the United States. This is sponsored by Pineview Veterinary Clinic. The winner will receive a custom-made saddle and a buckle, not to mention bragging rights. Horses this year are provided by Lost Creek Cattle Company out of Tennessee, and all the horses will be for sale after the event on Sunday. We have amazing clinicians, demos, shopping, and food. This year, we've added a little dancing in the dirt to the program on Saturday night, featuring the Ray Band. We've also added an extreme trail obstacle course competition.
Tickets are on sale now.
For more information, go to CushingMediaProductions.com and click on Expo. Hope to see you there.
Hi, my name is Charles Ramsey from Lost Creek Cattle Company. This is one of our stallions we use. His name's Hairpin Blue Checks. We heel on him. We rope calves on him. We do mounted shooting on him. We raise about 35 colts off of him a year. He's a great individual, good-minded. He can go any direction. Basically, we got about 160 head of horses. We're gonna bring you a set of colts up here to Everything Equine. Probably bring you 6 colts. I'm gonna try to match them up best I can where you'll have a good group of horses to start with. Whether you're looking for a trail horse or a working cow horse, reiner, whatever you're looking for, we probably have him. If you buy anything off this horse right here, he's gonna be good-minded and sure enough have the ability to do what anybody wants to do.
One thing that I do talk to people about with our horses is, and again, this is my experience, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like they have thinner skin. I know some older people, their skin is thinner. So when we groom them, you know, our younger horses, we can like really go in there and groom, but our older horses, we can't. And I've got a curry comb. I'd like to demonstrate that
please.
to you. Okay.
Please. I had never thought about that, so that's good to know.
All right, so generally when we have the curry comb, we're kind of going along very vigorously, right? A lot of times what we'll do is we'll go, now do you see the difference there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I saw him tighten up and kind of like, oh.
Right.
It wasn't a pleasant move.
It's not nice. And now he's looking to get away. He doesn't, he's like, I don't like that. But if I go just a little softer, I can get the same thing done. I'm still getting good hair, and now he's like, thanks. So instead of leaning away, he's actually coming to us, and that's what we want. So I got a little heavy.
Stay with me, baby. I'll frap her if she hurts you.
And I still have to watch myself too, because I can be, as thank you mama, as my mama would say, a little heavy-handed. So I do have to be careful of myself when I'm grooming these guys. But it's that age. It just seems like around 30, you know, that they just get a little bit more sensitive too. So
We know in older folks, my brother-in-law and my sister are in the mid-70s now, and the least little thing bruises and tears their skin really bad, and they have to be very careful. So I would think it would make sense that would be the case with these guys.
And it is. It's exactly the case too. The other thing that we need to be aware of with other older horses and this is really any senior horse, a horse is considered senior at 15.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
That's like, I've read that
Yeah.
in several books. 15. I would say generally now we think more around 20 or so when they're seniors. I feel like they're geriatrics when they're in their 30s.
That would make
or,
sense.
or late 20s. So some of the other things too that we need to be aware of besides just daily care, daily grooming, is the fact that they're more prone to ulcers. So for instance, I was away, my pet sitter was here taking care of my animals and all, thank you. And she noticed something that Hank did that he doesn't ever do while he's eating. So he walked away and he rolled. And he loves to roll, he still does, but it was something that kind of sparked us both to go, well, what's going on? So it can be, several things. Let's think about this. Obviously the first question when the owner isn't around is call the vet.
Right.
And do so regardless. If you have anything, any feeling in you that something's not quite right with your old horse, call the vet. Old horses are like kids. They're okay one minute and the next they're not, and they can crash really fast, really fast. So luckily for him, it wasn't anything serious. It's just, it's ulcers.
Right.
So it is serious, but because my pet sitter caught it right away, the first sign of it, it was easily, I should say treatable, I guess, is the right word, easily fixable. And so right away he was fine. And what we did is we gave him alfalfa. And what that has in it is calcium, and that buffers the tummy.
Okay.
Is what it does.
That's good to know, because I'd always thought yogurt, but I guess the old guy may not can digest yogurt. I don't know.
I don't know. Can they?
I don't know.
I don't know. But that's,
When babies
it's
get
high.
ulcers, yogurt helps cure them when they're getting weaned sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
had no
I raise babies. I don't
But
have
that makes
anything
sense,
as old as
though,
this yet.
Because the calcium, I guess it's the same thing. And we take the Tums, I guess, is
Yeah.
it's a calcium carbonate
Right.
or something. So it's
Right.
It's coating the tummy, as it were.
Hey there, I'm Christine Long, owner of Pineview Veterinary Hospital here in Bolton, North Carolina. We are an exclusive large animal veterinary practice. We provide 24/7 emergency care and routine services for horses, cows, sheep, goats, llamas, alpacas, and pigs. We are currently a staff of 2 full-time veterinarians, myself and Dr. Leslie Jarrett, and we have a wonderful secretary, Donna Jacobs. We provide veterinary services to the northeastern part of South Carolina and the southeastern part of North Carolina. So if the need arises, give us an opportunity to serve you.
Generally, their feet, their hoof care. A lot of folks, they feel like, well, they're older, I'm not riding them, I'm not doing anything. They don't need hoof care as often as they used to get it. That's not the case. Sometimes they need it more often. Again, they can go down pretty quickly.
Yes, I love you.
So I see a lot of infection, different types of infection. I see infection in the frog itself, in the hoof wall itself, in the white line itself too. The best way to combat that is through immune support. So making sure that they have a good balanced diet as well. There are lots of supplements that we can give our horses. Some of them are herbs, some of them are not, that help support the immune system. I use essential oils to do that. Sometimes I'll grab some herbs and do that as well. Whatever is needed basically for him and any old horse, I'll do, within means, as it were. So they do still need regular hoof care. So we got to think, just because they're old, they're not being used as much, they're more pasture ornaments, they still need regular hoof care. So definitely talk to your farrier about that and make sure that they stay on a good schedule. And if there's any infection, which is, you're going to see it in old horses. Just about every old horse that I pick up, there's some amount of infection in there. And I must say, I have to admit that if there's a little bit, I'm okay. I'll monitor it because I feel like their immune system is poor anyway. I mean, they're 90 plus by the time they're in their 30s.
Right.
So I can understand a little bit of it. It's just when the foot is overrun with it, you start to see some infection where you didn't see some infection there. But you'll see a little bit of that as long as we need to be careful of it. We need to be on top of it.
So interesting you talking about that, because if you think about it, it's not that they're not being ridden and they don't need their hooves done. It's that they're standing still a lot of times in one position and they don't move and they don't have good circulation and they don't wear their hoofs off. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they'd really need more than the one that's running across the field bucking and kicking. I mean, really.
Right.
But I had never thought about it in those terms, so I'm glad you explained that.
Definitely.
Because that makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
And they still have so much to offer. Standing here petting him, I'm sure my blood pressure has gone completely back to normal and I'm calm and relaxed. I mean, they just give so much till the day they die.
They do.
And they need, they ask so little.
They do. They really do. And I find that they are so appreciative of the little things. So if I have an old guy and I'm working on his feet, as I do, I'll handle him differently. I won't, I don't argue with them, as I call it. I don't argue with them as much as it were. If they take their feet, I'm fine. Let them take their feet. They probably need their foot to stand.
Right.
Some of them, some of them, my old man Chip, as I call him, when I went to do his feet, I had to face him either uphill or downhill, depending on whether I was working on the front or the rear end. And towards the end, I was actually, helping him out. I was holding him up a little bit too, because their balance is off. Just like us, as we get older, their balance gets off. They'll bang into things. They don't see as well. I had a horse. She had DSLD, or it's ESPA, known as that. A lot of people know it as just the drop pasterns, but it's actually a whole body issue. That's what I call it. It's a whole body connective tissue issue,
right?
As it were. And she actually went blind. She couldn't see hardly a lick, and you can just tell, like, she's turning her head this way and she's turning her head that way and she's trying to focus and she couldn't see. So she had a lot of dings, a lot of bang ups, a lot of scrapes and things like that, because she didn't see as well. The depth perception probably wasn't there, or the two, I think they see in 2D, two-dimensional, that wasn't as good as it normally has been, that sort of thing. So, we need to look at them every day. We need to check them over quick, just quickly. It doesn't take that long, but just very quickly as they're eating their mash, typically, or their warm mash or cold mash, depending on the time of the year.
Right.
They, we can look at that too and look them over real quick as well.
Welcome to 411 New Hope Church Road in Turkey, North Carolina. This amazing equestrian compound is the prior location of renowned Carroll's Cutting Horses and is a turnkey horse facility ready to accommodate multiple families or a large equestrian operation. This ranch is comprised of approximately 485 acres. With facilities so extensive, only a site visit will confirm their magnitude. The grain bins, dog kennels, backup generators, and other assets add to the enormous equestrian campus. So call us for a complete list today. Call Gardner Reynolds or Frank Gombatz, brokers, for more information and a showing. Legacy Farms and Ranches of North Carolina, a premier marketing platform for farms, ranches, and recreational properties.
Are you thinking about a career with horses?
I love this.
We love this.
I love this. I love this.
I love this.
We know. You'll love it too.
Have trouble with their water intake? Do they still drink like they normally drink, or do you have to give them supplements to make them drink more, or supplement them with Gatorade or something like that?
So far, I have not. I've had several older horses, many. I've got many on my books, as I call for farrier sources, and so far, I haven't had anybody that has been concerned about water consumption. And typically their owners know that they're drinking well. So I'm thinking that that's not
a problem.
issue.
Good.
I know generally the average horse takes in about 15 gallons of water per day.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have any teeth, but they're his molars. So we don't know that they're missing.
Right.
So all that we see, and you see his lovely little slobber, there's lovely slobber. All that we see is these.
Right.
His old teeth. That's all that we see.
And I can see from their back it's clean.
Yep.
Yep.
And you can.
Can you see?
You can kind of see there's nothing right here. Usually there's a wolf tooth.
Right.
You can even see it's wore down a little bit.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, man. I'm sorry. So one of the things that I have noticed with him, he's always been a slobberer and just kind of drains always. But what I noticed is as he started losing his teeth, he started slobbering more.
Right.
And so he almost had this constant stream of slobber. And so anytime, you're loving on him or whatnot, or doing his feet and you bring his feet forward, you have a slobber drain on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Hank. So that is something else to consider in regards to their diet. So he can eat hay, he can eat grass, he cannot swallow it, he cannot chew it. So he does, he wants to.
It's fine.
He wants to eat now. Go on then. Got it close by. So you can have it. So what he can eat is chopped hay, chopped forage, that sort of thing. So what we have here, this is actually chaff hay right here, and it's got a little bit of water in it with some of his grain. Good boy. And so, I don't know if you know, if a lot of folks know this, but they're grazing 18 hours out of 24. So, what that tells me is that they need to have something on their tummies, and if they don't, that constant acid that they get will turn into ulcers.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think that might be the reason why old horses are prone to ulcers, is because that constant acid, and when they get to the point where they're not chewing and eating correctly, they're leaving these wads of hay or wads of grass. We call it quitting. So when they're doing that, you have this constant influx of acid in their tummies and nothing there to work on.
Hey, my name's Brian Barefoot, 11-time International Finals rodeo qualifier. I rodeoed for a living all over the country, and I've fed about every type of feed there are. When I come home, I wanted to come talk to Paul Dunn at Mill City Feeds and come up with a better feed for my performance horses. That resulted in Maximum Prime horse feed. It's got alfalfa, probiotics, beet pulp, everything that performance horse is looking for. So if you need a feed for your performance horse, come see Paul Dunn.
So Kat, one of the hard questions to ask you is, they're getting old. What do you do? Because sooner or later, it's inevitable.
Right. And it is. So one thing that I do share with some folks that do have older horses is we need to prepare for that now when the horse is healthy. So it's the same as us when we're older. We need to prepare for that now. We need to have a plan now. we need to know who we can call to help us. Sometimes it's not just one vet. We need to have a backup vet, because when it's time, it's time.
Because you want to be there for that last minute, but death is never pretty.
It's never pretty.
And it's hard, and so you do need to kind of figure out how you want to stage it, because after all, it's your, it's your choice of how it works to a large degree.
Right.
If it's not a critical thing and they're not have to be right then.
If it's not an emergency, that sort of thing.
So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode and learning more about caring for your older horse and how to deal with their aging. And Kat is going to be at Everything Equine Expo, August 25th and 26th down in Lumberton. And she's going to be doing more information about caring for your aging horse. And what else are you going to talk about, Kat?
So caring for our aging horse and essential oils and basic hoof care.
Very good.
As well.
Very good. So be sure and check out Kat's demos at the Expo. For more information about the Expo, you can go to cushingmediaproductions.com and look it up there, or Facebook page for Everything Equine Expo. So thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kim Crivet, the owner of North Star Veterinary Hospital. And today what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about some heat safety. We all can get hot with ourselves, our horses, and our small animals. So today what I'd like to do is go over just some basic things you would see if your horse might get too hot in the sun. Number one, we would want to concentrate on the nose. So they have a muscle here, and he's actually flaring for us right now. And you can actually see him panting. And so this tells me that he is hot and that his nose is working to make it as big as possible. So that would be one sign. Another sign would be his head hanging down. Another sign would be maybe staggering. So the first thing you want to do would be, one, get them out of the sun. Two, take their temperature if you have a thermometer. If not, it's not going to hurt if you don't take their temperature. But you want to cool them off with water and alcohol and a fan. So I hope these tips will help you throughout the summer to stay happy, healthy, and keep riding your horses and playing with your dogs and cats. This is Dr. Kim Crivet from North Star Veterinary Hospital. Thank you very much, and have a safe summer.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.